Welcome back to City Skylines with Jordock Lightforge. As we can see, there's a nice fog that's rolled in over my town. A little offshoot town. We've got a good demand for everything coming in. We've got real nice, everything's looking good. So, the question for today is, now that we're done with Duskmere Pines, because this fog is killing me, what should we do next? We've got a nice main town over here, but we've only got almost 6,000 people, which isn't enough to unlock the incineration plant. So I'm thinking we can expand over here, just east of Park Square, build a nice big bunch of housing so we can unlock the high density, because we need the high density in order to progress very far, really. That's just the truth of things. So let's go ahead and work on increasing our population size, our density, just to get things moving, get things going. We can start unlocking more things, because eventually I just want to get a nice big bunch of just a beautiful city going. That's what I want. And I do understand that my way of speaking is not exactly the best. I do know that. It could definitely be better. And I'm thinking over here, we need to just try and switch things up a little bit, maybe make a different grid system. In fact, I might even do that before. It's going to mess our zoning up a little bit, but not too bad looking. So maybe start from here. Now, I do want to try and make this a visually appealing vanilla play, because I mean, I don't have any mods enabled, and I do want things to look nice. So obviously I can't put anything over here since I've made it a little mountainous, made it nice looking, just generally dulled it up so that it's a nice heavily wooded area. So it wouldn't make sense to build out that far, but filling this in, no problem. At least that's what I feel. I'm probably going to upgrade this road here, just because it is going to be the main way to travel through here. We make that crossover. Alright, I think that'll spice things up a bit. I'll go ahead and go through here, get a nice avenue going, and just, like I said, I'll upgrade this to a nice avenue. I think I'll actually just make the avenue continue onward, go straight, and link up with the road. And yeah, I'll probably get some through traffic that's probably not going to enjoy that too much, but I mean, that's just some of the things you face. It might be worth connecting these at some point, because right now the only way to get through to there is, you know, through that main area. We do have a nice amount of traffic going. It's not getting stuck everywhere, which is really good. If we toggle our menu here, let's just see how our public transport's doing. Nice, a lot of people taking the trams, a lot of people taking the buses, and we're starting to get a little bit of tourism in. See, we've unlocked our major stations, so we can probably, let's see if we can fit a normal size hospital somewhere in here. I'm thinking right here. Yeah, we'll put it in here in this one-way system. But would it make sense to have a hospital near a bunch of commercial? I do realize these guys have almost near zero death access, and because we don't unlock the crematoriums for quite some time, we're just gonna have to go ahead and place a graveyard next to here, or maybe I think I know what we can do. A nice one-way road from here to here. Yeah. So let's. Is there a way I can maybe? Yeah, I think that'll work. Put that here. Put that there. Turn it into a one-way. Okay. All right. Well, that certainly helps. I had no idea how to switch the one-way directions on that. Alright, that should allow our death care access. Let's just go ahead and bring that in. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That should help. Unless for whatever reason this is full. It is not. Okay, it should get there eventually. Alright, anyways, back over to here. We're going to go ahead and just bring the piping in. Just bring that up. Connect that. Connect that. Bring it down. We'll connect there. And there. A little bit there. Just to make sure coverage is even. Go here. There. Now we've got full water coverage. I'm gonna go ahead and just start filling this out. I think I'm gonna try and do some kind of a park thing here. Not quite sure. But maybe some commercial down here. Let's go ahead and just do that. Yeah. I think just a nice big patch of commercial demand there. Probably fill things in, make it look nicer. Alright, looks like we can buy some new land too. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now where to go with it? Eventually I'm gonna buy this piece here because I think I can put a nice hydroelectric dam in there. I think that'll look nice. I think I'm gonna move my industrial district down here, so I'll go ahead and buy that. So we do have a fair bit of industrial demand, and it will have rail access, so that's a benefit. And we've still got a ton of money, so we don't have anything to worry about there. Just go ahead and cut that back. We have a decent three-way intersection. I mean, it's gigantic, but I'm not that good at building big highway intersections. We'll just cut that back pretty far. Because, I mean, for this kind of a intersection, we're gonna have to play with some stuff, probably. Is there a way to turn snapping off? This is getting ridiculous. Okay. We'll put it there. And we'll have to reroute the highways a little bit. I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. I'm just going to go... that. Like that. Alrighty. That's connected. It doesn't look awful. We're just going to go ahead. Make a straight connection there. Straight connection there. Now we've got a beautiful entryway into some nice territory where we can just put just a nice industrial district in here, nothing too crazy. Now, it's going to require some heavy road access, so I'm just going to connect these real quick. Come down to here. Alrighty. So that's right in the center. Take the highway. It's gonna curve though. Okay, if we turn it into a 2-lane road, is it still gonna curve? Okay. I gotta try and find a way to get this connected without curving. Alright, well, I got it about as straight as it's gonna get. So, I'm just gonna go through here. Okay. And snapping back on. Just Alright, well I went in and I started just going to town here on building some stuff, and I think it's really turning out great. Honestly, I think I'm doing at least something I can be proud of at the moment. I'm trying to find a place for the Statue of Industry right now. Some place that doesn't look completely ridiculous. I'm thinking about reworking the main entrance road to kind of factor that in. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Alright, so future me speaking here. Just decided to go ahead and comment over this. Not a lot going on in the moment. Thought it would help explain a little bit. What I've decided to do with the Statue of Wealth here is I've decided to make a one-way system wrapping around it. And now afterwards, after the video, I did go ahead and change it to a 2-lane road lined with trees to prevent a buildup of parked cars around it, and also to eliminate the traffic lights that spawn. I was just really hoping that the 6-lane would work that same way, but it doesn't. For whatever reason, whenever you have a 6-lane road, at least when I've tried to get it working in here, it still adds traffic lights even if it's going from a one-way to a one-way. And I'm not really sure what the purpose of that is. Maybe it's just too many lanes of traffic, and because there's only 1 or 2 dedicated turning lanes, it goes ahead and builds up. Now, right here, I've left the industrial zone, and I'm moving over because I noticed that the death rates are getting really crazy. And the reason that's happening is because I don't have enough cemeteries out by Duskmere, which is why I'm putting this one in. So it just, all of the death care was going elsewhere to try and make up for it. And now I'm putting in a little bit of commercial zoning down here just to try and spice things up a bit and get that taken care of. And eventually I'm going to try and just make this the main drag through town, but for now I think that's the best way to go. And it actually benefited a lot to put that cemetery out in Duskmere. It did a wonderful job, and it took care of the deaths. And now I'm going in and I'm taking care of these parks, because I noticed last time that I did this that I didn't have any trees in here at all. So I'm just going in and putting in more trees. It really did help a lot to do that. And over here, what I was doing is I'm just morphing the ground a little bit, making it look better, you know, just again doctoring it up, making it look nicer, more built up, and just overall better. And yeah, that's really just the most of what I was doing. Alright, so what I've thought about doing is a little bit more work on Duskmere, because I have unlocked high density. I can focus on that another time, but I've decided to make this look like a little mountain town that's been enclosed, and I'm thinking about going over here and maybe doing a little bit of work on raising the terrain. So something like just nothing really crazy, just, you know, going through and making it look a little more just hilly and less clear cut, less like a plains. And I might have to go steal some more soil from the river bottom to make it happen, but hopefully you can kind of understand the vision, I guess you could say I'm going for. Just because the trees do add a lot of depth, but just not as much as I would like in a lot of cases. Like this, I think looks great, and the trees help break everything up, just make it less like plains and more like woods, because I really enjoy woods. I love trees. I think they're fantastic. I'm probably going to do more rocks over here like I did with the last spot. Just kind of like that. Start right here. Just build it up. Right, well, I'm going to go ahead and edit through this a little bit just to make it look faster, because this is going to take a while. And I went ahead and did, like I said, I'm editing this just to make it go faster, because it takes forever to place rocks, like an unbelievable amount of time, but the result you get just looks so much better than the distorted dirt look that you get when you normally make a mountain on here. And I give so much love to City Skylines because it is a fantastic game, and it could do with a little more, which I guess is why we have mods, just to make things look better. And the stone really helps you do that, like getting that nice mountain look, like, and while by itself it's not so great, once you get it all flushed out, it really looks nice. And as I'm going through here, I'm just placing more and more stone and just getting it to blend together as best as I can. And it just helps it look so much better. And it does take a tremendous amount of time and effort and work, and is, like I said, going through here, putting more stone down, and eventually I'll put more brush in just to doctor up. And it's really hard to talk creatively about laying rocks down. I just came over here, and I know I jump back and forth a lot while I play. I'm going through here and putting in just more and more stuff, pandering to little things like education, and now I'm back to placing rocks. Look at that, placing more rocks, more and more rocks. Now, something I have to do after placing a lot of the rocks is place more rocks, which is great. I love placing rocks. It's fantastic placing rocks. And that's going to be a majority of like the next 5 minutes, actually, is placing rocks. But it's worth it, really. I think it really is. Once you get down to it, once it's all said and done, it looks so much nicer. Now right here I'm throwing in some incineration plants because our trash buildup was getting ridiculous. So I'm going in, placing incineration plants, clearing out some of the landfills, because I want to move to incineration plants eventually. I don't want it to always be landfills. I mean, it's not meant to work like that because they get full. I mean, now what I'm doing right here is I'm going in, and because I didn't want to go and re-put in the power lines, I decided to make it look like the power lines were put in place and we're cutting out stone. Like, you know, dug out the spot to put the main structure for the power lines in. I don't quite know what that. It's not a. It's not like it's a telephone pole. It's some kind of other name. Now, originally my plan was to only have the spot where to make it look like the road, the mountain was carved for the road to go through. But I didn't like the way that the dirt looked, so I went ahead and I just went through and I got rid of it. And I just by hiding it beneath all the rocks. Now, you do have to turn the rocks so that they look better, because if you just go placing them all the same way, you don't get enough diversity. It doesn't break up the ground nearly as well, and it doesn't look nearly as nice. Now, I forgot to put some water there. I forgot to give that guy power, so I'm putting in some stuff here. And this is where I've started changing this industrial zone into office space, simply because I think it'll look better if it's offices. I just do. And I also go through here and I got my high density unlocked, so I'm putting in some more high density commercial and a little bit of high density residential later on. And now I'm back to placing more of the stonework for the mountainside. And again, it's just a bunch of repetitive layering, clicking, layering, more layering, and just making sure that all of the spaces are covered, because it's not hard to do, it's just very time consuming. And now the thing about these big rocks is, unlike the small stone, you can't overlap them, you can't phase into them with anything, so it's not nearly as good, which is why eventually I feel like I'll get the prop anarchy mod, which you gotta really be careful with that one, because you can have trees growing through buildings and roads if you're not careful with it. Here I am now, and I'm starting to go through here. I'm placing all these bushes just because the greenery really breaks up the monotony of the stonework, and it just helps it look more alive, and it just makes it look more grown, as though the stone literally has actual uh, plants growing over time through it. And just too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, but not in the case of hiding the horrible look of stonework sometimes. Because when you put the plants in there, it really just, like I said, it breaks it up, it makes it look better and just more well grown in. And just see, I did this in several processes. I started with the stone, now I'm going through with the small bushes and large bushes. Then I'm going to go in with the one style of the pine tree, which is right here, just to help start making it look grown and more like the woods were there before the town was. And I'm just going around the mountains, planting all where I think this type of tree should be, and just going through and, you know, like I said, just filling it up, making it look like the town, like the woods had to get cut down for the town to be put in place. Now I'm putting some more bushes in this park and this park because they just look too manicured, too well taken care of. In a little town like this, that's not how it's going to play out. Now, I went on to the second type of tree, which is a slightly bigger pine tree, and I'm just flushing it out, making it look like the tree line is coming through. And if you've noticed, I've done what a normal power company would do, and I've kept the trees clear of the power lines. That just adds a little more authenticity, I think, makes it look a little more realistic. And I'm going through here with the biggest set, the wild pine tree, or wild conifer. Sorry, my bad here. It's a conifer tree, not a pine tree. And again, just making it look like there's different varieties, different sizes, making it look more well done. And then I'm just finishing it up. And here I'm going and just getting rid of some of these power lines to kind of tone it down a little bit, make it look a little more well done. I'm raising the mountains up a little more just to kind of help it look a little more flushed out. And again, the mountains would have been there a lot longer than anything else. So it's got to look like, you know, like the town was just nestled in these hills, these little mountains, just to kind of doctor it up. And now I'm putting some pine trees in there just to, again, add some variety to the trees and thickening up the tree lines and just making it look better. And I really enjoy the way that it looks. And I'm putting sound barriers in here so that the people and the pedestrians don't get nearly as upset about how everything is shaping up to be. So that's all the reason behind putting all of that in. Alright, well, I've gotten this all tidied up, and I think it looks really nice. I do. I think it just looks a lot more organic, and it looks better. It flows better. It feels more like part of this area. Now, eventually I want to thicken the trees up in here. Just keep, building it up over time. But I think I've spent enough time over here for now. I've got quite a bit of demand for residential. So, I'm just going to do, like I said I was going to do, de-zone some areas. And we can build up some nice residential. Now, my computer is getting kind of buggy, but that might be because it's getting hot. I'm not sure. I'll just have to look into it later. Now, I don't want a bunch of high-rises or anything, so eventually I'll go in and I'll fix that. But for now, I think it's going to be alright. And this area in here, I do want to fill it up. Just to make things look fuller, more fleshed out, just to give it an overall better look. Let's see, I got water going under there. Most of it, but not right here. Alright, yeah, it is starting to get buggy. Then again, I've placed about 10,000 rocks, so that could be part of the problem. Alright, now we just have to wait for demand to build back up. And I think... Okay, well that's a little much. Is that offices? Yeah, it is. Okay. I might get rid of those. They do look kind of awful there. But we'll get around to that when we get around to it. I want to kind of build up from here and just go from there. Now I'm going to start getting rid of these landfill sites by using incineration plants. So let's just start working on emptying those out. I'll go ahead and put a few incineration plants in. One right across the street. Probably help. Okay. And then when that's empty, we'll get rid of it. And these two empty out, we'll get rid of those. For the sake of our trash collection, though, we're going to put another incineration plant in. We'll put two in. Just because incineration plants are better, in my opinion. Now, I do see that traffic is really bad right here. So how can I fix that? What is this? Okay. The best thing I can think of would be to make this road going through here bigger. But that's gonna do a little bit of weirdness to the park. So is there any other way? Well, let's get rid of these entrances. We'll just get rid of those. Right now, we're forcing traffic to go just down this road. So if that's an on, that'll be an off, on, and an off, I guess. Oh, those slopes are off. Okay. I'll have to fix those at some point because that's atrocious. But for now, we're just gonna see if that works. And if we can funnel traffic down what I need to make a big street. So I'm thinking nice 2-lane road perhaps, and I can't. Fantastic. Okay, let's get rid of that. We'll upgrade the road. This is going to do some form of irreparable damage, I'm sure, like destroying my highway. But there, that's better. Alright, no harm, no foul, I guess. Thinking about moving the highways so it wraps around here and it doesn't make this giant square of ridiculous stuff, but I kind of like it. Kind of like it. Alright, so hopefully that improves our traffic, because then, you know, gives traffic more of a choice. We'll just see how that plays out, because it's not all filing down that main road now. Alright, we'll have to fix this zoning. There we go. I'm probably going to go ahead and work on public transport in a bit after I buy this chunk of land. Let's buy this. Okay. But I think next I'll work on upping public transport. And since the main focus in this area is tram service, we'll just go ahead and work on that. Now, while tram service is currently my main mode of transport, because again I prefer trams simply because you can put down tram tracks that only pedestrians can cross on the trams themselves, which helps a lot with traffic issues. I will eventually put in a metro line simply because metros are pretty efficient if you don't have an above ground railway set up to go between your large blocks. And most of this is just me extending my tram service lines, because I'm not going to make the tramway go all the way out to this big industrial yard simply because that's a silly thing to do. So I'm putting in a bus line with a lot of stops through here, which I do have to do a couple of times because I make some mistakes on it. Which, I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Eventually I'm going to go ahead and put a bus station down, but I feel like building up its own little area for it, just because I think that would be nice. Putting it maybe out there by the industrial park, or maybe between the industrial park and the main city. But I'm just finishing up the bus routes right now, and hopefully that will fix a lot of the issues I'm having, because I just have too many people taking their cars instead of taking public transport. And maybe I'll make it free later on, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. Now, I did put in more on-ramps and off-ramps into my main section of town, because I did notice that a lot of the traffic was building up. But they really are not seeming to help at the moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in here and start reworking that. Put a little bit more high density residential while I'm at it, and a little bit of high density commercial. And again, just I really need to hurry up, and because they're really not doing well. Gonna do this. Okay, yeah, that didn't help at all. Oh man, I don't need more exit. I just need it to be more fluid. Because I guess in reality there is only one entrance into town. So maybe if I just work on it. I'm not that good at this, obviously, but I am trying. So, alright, well, future me here again. I do understand I keep flip-flopping back and forth. I'm new to this, so I'm not really sure. As you can see, I'm going through here, and I'm trying to find a better setup for my highways. Something I'm going to do at some point is, once I have enough tiles unlocked, I'm going to rework the entrance to the city entirely, just because I don't like the stock intersections for the highways, the cloverleaf and the three-way. They're not diverse enough. They're not compact enough, I think, to make an effective city entrance. Not to mention, it's really hard to try and take a two-lane highway and make an exit into a one-lane town. It is difficult. And maybe I'll go download some off of the workshop. I'm not sure. I'd like to try and get it done myself, but I'm not very good at building highway architecture. At least, well, I shouldn't say that I'm not good at it. I'm not realistically capable at it. I tend to just make way too many on and off ramps, like an unbelievable amount, and they tend to be ludicrous looking, like 5, 6 layers. I actually had created a tornado once of on and off ramps simply because it was the only way I could get it to work, that's the downside of an unrealistic build with City Skylines. It quickly grows out of control and it becomes absolutely monstrous and impossible to do the upkeep on. It's so difficult. A big problem I found I was having is that my district didn't have an old town policy, so a lot of traffic was trying to go through the middle of town to cut from that little bit of highway up to save the imaginary time it would. So again, later, I think I am going to move the highway to follow its other path, even though I don't like twin bridges in City Skylines because it's really hard to do. I'll just have to bite the bullet on that one later and just do it. But the Old Town policy is really going to be key for keeping traffic flow under control because it'll keep roads in town to only be used by local traffic and it'll just help things along a lot better. So that's what I'm going to do with that. And along with the completely reworked city entrance, I'm also going to keep Shop Town. I'm going to keep it small, and I'm actually going to move the high-rises over to where the roads turn angular by the avenue. I'm going to make that the new central drag through town, like I was saying earlier on in the video. Alright. Now, what's going on here, I'm just debating if I should put a 6-lane there because of the traffic flow. Obviously, with the rework of the highway system and the Old Town District law, it really did help, so I don't need to go through and do that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let past me take over in a second because reasons. Well, I'm going to save that headache for another episode. And even though I have a horrible setup going, it is all a work in progress. I really like the way this looks. I really do. So maybe having this be tall, I don't know. Maybe if I put in a high-rise band in Shop Town, is that doable? Can't city planning. Old Town. Ah, there we go. Let's put an Old Town policy on it. Maybe that'll help. Encourage biking. Yeah, that might help us. We'll just... Yeah. If it's for business only, That should solve a lot of the problem. And eventually I want to fill that in too. But we'll see. Yeah, that should help clear things up. That way we don't have people cutting through town. That way they have to take the highway. Alright, yeah, let's do that. Cut those out. Because those are still atrocious. I prefer that setup, but yeah, that'll help, I believe. Alright, well, like I said, till next time, I'll have to fix that at some point. I think maybe this would be a nice... Let's see, what's it look like at the top of this? Ooh, yeah, there we go. That's awful looking. Alright, well, there we go. That's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you next time. This has been Jordock Lifeforge with City Skylines.